go. Nice shot of the leading 6 men now. This is the way things are looking at this stage. Amos Kipruto, look at the sharp end of the women's race. It's gone through 30 kilometres. 1:38.07 for the leading women. There's the expected main protagonists up there. 4 Ethiopians, a couple of Kenyans, JEPCHIRCHIR and JEPKOSGEI, famed half-marathon runners. Never quite produced it so far over the marathon, but this could be a personal best for both of them. JEPKOSGEI, you can see in the blue vest, just passing on the inside her compatriot. Steel mill pacemakers towing city. Just looking at the women's leaders, so we're just looking at the Torres de Serrans, and as we've seen it a couple of times, and it's one of the historic gateways to the city. It dates from the 14th century. This is the German, Amanel Petros. Petros, well, he's a very, very good cross-country runner a few years back, got medals at the European cross-country championships in the under-23 category, now moving on to the roads. And LAMDASSEM just in front of him. Well, Petros must be about 24, 25 now. About 15 years the junior of LAMDASSEM. Some of the leading Spanish women still forging ahead. Ben DAOUD. Well, try and give you an estimated finish time on Ben DAOUD. To tell. But here's the 6-man leading group. Still, Ruben Kiprop really punishing them, really forcing the pace. CHERONO, as he's done with his implacable facial expression. CHEBET, oh, CHEBET has that rather tense, rather awkward, slightly lopsided running style. Kipruto just loping along, so 3 Kenyans at the front. There's Leo Gebrselassie and BIRHANU LEGESE. I was going to say it's Leo Gebrselassie, it's because Gebrselassie has actually been dropped. And it's Chalo Deso at the front. So 4 Kenyans and 2 Ethiopians. The men went through 35 kilometres in 1:42.18. Winner here in Valencia, Leo Gebrselassie, just being dropped over that last kilometre. LEGESE at the back, perhaps the least heralded of this sextet. Personal best of 2 for a top 6 place unless things unravel badly. LAMDASSEM, and it's looking as though he's actually caught and overtaken Ben DAOUD at this stage. So the Spaniards having differing fortunes over the course of the last few kilometres. LAMDASSEM, the near veteran at 39 years of age, with I think 4 silver medals at the European Cross to his name. Always seemed to be the bridesmaid at the European Cross. Now looking as though he might well be in contention for the first Spaniard home. Confirmation of what I told you a moment ago with the timings. 1:42.18 for the men at 35 kilometres. They're now well into the 36th kilometre. So just under 5 kilometres to go. See the breakdown. You can see the way that since the 30-kilometre mark, the leaders have really, as we switch back, we've suddenly lost one of the Ethiopians. So it's 4 Kenyans and the defending champion, BIRHANU LEGESE. Say the fastest man in the field, not the defending champion. That belongs to the man whose details you can see on the screen, Kinde Atanor. Well, with 5 kilometres to go, they are well inside that course record pace of Atanor's from last year. I think they're on course for something around 2:03. World record, I think realistically we can forget about that now. We're probably about a minute and a half outside that pace with 5 kilometres to go. Let's just focus on, oh, there's Deso. We've suddenly lost him. Shattered. And there's the defending champion as well, Atanor. Just pulls up. He's been going backwards for a few kilometres, that's obvious. He's just been passed by the Spaniards, who are operating at around 2:07 pace. He decided to call it a day, does not look happy at all. Really, the batteries have gone completely flat. But at the front, we've got, well, we're now down to 4 men. Looking as though Kiprop suddenly ran out of steam, as Amos Kipruto seems to have surged. So we've got Amos Kipruto, Lawrence CHERONO, Evans CHEBET, and tucked in at the back, BIRHANU LEGESE. Well, LEGESE, if anybody who's watching that Tokyo Marathon knows, really leaves nothing left on the roads. He could barely walk once he'd won the Tokyo Marathon. Yeah, we're roughly at around these runners have got about another kilometre or so of straight road ahead of them. Then they make a right turn. They've got a good 2.5 kilometres straight ahead. Just gone through 38 kilometres, as you can see there. Almost exactly 1:51. So that's a fraction inside 2:03 pace. It looks as though Kipruto has injected a little bit of pace here. And certainly, it's difficult to see without the clocks, but certainly that's the impression of being a little bit quicker after Kiprop went backwards. So we're now down to 4 men. Amos Kipruto, Evans CHEBET, Lawrence CHERONO, and BIRHANU LEGESE. With the exception of LEGESE, all three men are well on the way to big personal bests. Even CHERONO, Boston and Chicago champion, personal best of 2:04.06. He's running about a minute faster than that. CHEBET, best of 2:05. And the surprise package, Amos Kipruto. As I said, we haven't seen much in recent years of Kipruto. He has had a few respectable outings, but nothing spectacular. CHEBET has been quietly winning perhaps slightly lower profile marathons. He's a very competitive athlete. In the last 12 months or so, he's won in Otsu in Japan and in Buenos Aires. CHEBET finished second here back in 2017, so he knows the streets of Valencia. So we're just coming out of the old city now. No spectators this year. Spectators encouraged to stay and cheer the runners from the balconies. So saying the runners were in the COVID hygiene bubble, tested before they left their native countries, Ethiopia and Kenya in the case of this quartet, and then tested again on arrival. Single rooms, eating in their rooms, social distancing as much as possible except from when the gun went. So the closing stages of this Valencia Marathon Trinidad Alfonso EDP. 40th anniversary of this race, and it's looking as though it's going to be the quickest ever in those 4 decades. Now it's Evans CHEBET. As I said, CHEBET knows how to win races. Hasn't yet got a really fast time to his name. Best of 2:05 exactly. He's looking as though he's going to smash his personal best here. And it's Amos Kipruto having pushed the pace, who's now starting to look a little bit tired. He's starting to struggle just a bit. Lawrence CHERONO now tracking CHEBET along with BIRHANU LEGESE. So this will cement LEGESE's prominence as one of the world's top marathon runners without a doubt, if he could come off with a win here. CHERONO, we know, is a winner in high-profile races, has won Chicago and Boston in the last 18 months. CHEBET, a winner as well. Not quite as high-profile races as the ones where CHERONO and LEGESE has won. He's got the bit between his teeth here as we come up with 2 kilometers to go. We're in this long straight which dips on the south side of the Torria Gardens and the Torria running circuit. So under 6 minutes of running to go now. Well, it's certainly been quickened up with Kipruto and now CHEBET leading the way. Suddenly put in a couple of very, very quick kilometers, and LEGESE is the man now starting to get detached off the back. Is this once again going to be a Kenyan duel? Well, Kenyans in the men's race, the most successful nation ever. 17 previous winners of this race in 39 years. It's now just starting to look very slightly like it might be the 18th Kenyan winner. Evans CHEBET and Lawrence CHERONO. Well, neither of these guys, youngsters, both 32 years of age, a lot of experience built up over the years. Both men really coming to the fore in their late 20s and early 30s. They weren't the prodigies that we're sometimes seeing moving into the marathon and running quick times in their early 20s. We'll come back to the women's race. we've still got about another 20 minutes of running after the men. Well, 15 minutes of running after the men's have finished. Plenty of time to focus our attention on the women. We're now concentrating at the sharp end of the men's race. It's BIRHANU LEGESE just starting to struggle just a little bit. It's not quite right. Managed to mix up the women's times as well. Fourth is YAGO, but she's in the women's race. That's a bit further back. But this is without doubt going to be a very quick time. The course record, I believe, now is definitely going to go. Just a question of by how much. And CHEBET is really throwing down the gauntlet to CHERONO. LEGESE now looks to be out of it, to be honest. Starting to look a bit tired, despite the fact that we know that he's such a gritty and determined performer. We've seen that in recent races in Tokyo and Berlin. Well, about 1.5 kilometers to go now, as we're coming along on the south side of the Turia Gardens. You can see there the palms in the background. CHERONO just glancing around, but there's nobody else to worry about. The lead car just tucked in behind them. Well, they really speeded up over the course of the last 2 or 3 kilometers. Amos Kipruto and Ruben Kiprop were partly responsible for taking them through from 30 kilometers and really making this a fast race. This is looking as though now, well, I think we're going to be inside 2:03 at this pace, and CHERONO now, these guys, well, they've still got over 1 kilometer to go, but they're really working hard. They're almost sprinting at this stage. They're looking like men who might be running a 5,000 meters rather than the last kilometer of a 42-kilometer marathon. No more glancing around. They know they've dropped LEGESE. LEGESE, you can just see slightly disappearing into the distance now behind them. The white-vested Ethiopian, and indeed he might well be in danger of being caught by Kipruto behind him. Let's focus now all the way to the line on these two men in front. The orange vest of Lawrence CHERONO, reigning Boston and Chicago champion. Alongside him, Evans CHEBET, fellow Kenyan, won in Buenos Aires and Otsu this year, in the last year or so. Two winners without a doubt. Now they're battling to see who can prevail in this race. They're really starting to pick up the race now. About 700 meters, well, 800 meters. They've just passed the 800 meters to go mark. Well, the course record is definitely going to go. It's going to be a world lead, that's without a doubt. It's going to be somewhere around the 2:03 mark. 700 meters to go. And now is CHERONO at the front, coming around the twists and turns alongside this Turia Park area. There's the waterways that dot the city of arts and sciences. Now it's CHERONO. CHERONO is working hard at the front. He hasn't dropped CHEBET yet. Just coming out of the shadows, under the bridges. Officials making sure that they've got the right line, clearing the motorbikes. LEGESE still gritting his teeth and hanging on for third place. It's CHERONO though, Lawrence CHERONO, the 32-year-old Kenyan. CHEBET, head rocking from side to side. The much more fluent CHERONO is leading the way as he's done for the last kilometre. He Hasn't dropped CHEBET yet. Has CHEBET got anything left in the tank? But it's CHERONO pushing, pulling away. Coming out of the shadows as they round the structures of the Science Museum here in Valencia. Still CHERONO, working hard, pushing hard. For the first time we're seeing a little bit of stress on CHERONO's face. It's that very tight last bend. Almost caught CHERONO, and CHEBET's nipped it under on his left-hand side. Here we go. CHEBET just digging deep, gritting his teeth. CHERONO now just drifting back. It's looking as though it's going to be CHEBET. CHEBET from Kenya, 2:03 exactly, course record, the 40th champion here in Valencia, the winner of the 2020 Valencia Marathon Trinidad Alonso EDP race. Lawrence CHERONO second, 4 seconds in arrears, big personal best for both men. BIRHANU LEGESE of Ethiopia third. LEGESE, terrific run, still in there right to the death. Amos Kipruto comes through for 4th place and a big personal best for all 3 Kenyans in the top 4. They've really made their mark. Fastest time of the year for CHEBET. Well, that was a terrific race right the way to the line. CHEBET, well, without doubt, the biggest race of his life. Question is now, will he be on his way to Rio? Will the Kenyans select him? He's certainly put down a marker on Olympic selection. He's never been to a major championship before. Desu, just rounding the corner, drifted off the back of the pack. LAMDASSEM having a very good run indeed over the final 10 kilometers. 39 years of age, LAMDASSEM, still running like he was a teenager. 600 meters to go. This is an absolutely magnificent run from LAMDASSEM. Short of a meltdown, he's going to take the Spanish record apart. I think he's going to seal his trip to Rio as well. There's CHEBET though, enjoying his moment, just getting his breath back. LAMDASSEM, well, in absolute agony. He's got a couple of 100 meters to go to the line. CHEBET, I've just checked, moves up to 6th on the all-time list for the marathon. Number 1 on the Spanish list is without doubt going to be LAMDASSEM. And 150 meters of running still to go. And he's going to take 40 seconds or so off the Spanish record. Well, maybe not quite 40 seconds, but he's coming into the home straight now. Just hang on in there, just keep it going. Take those seconds further off. He looked as though he was just coasting a little bit a few 100 meters ago, but he now knows that he is going to go into the record books. At 39 years of age, he's got a fantastic running career behind him. He's got medals at European cross-country championships, and now he's taken the Spanish record, and he knows it. It's dawned on him. LAMDASSEM, the new Spanish record holder for the marathon. Give you a confirmed time for LAMDASSEM in a moment. He's taken about 20 seconds off that mark of Julio Reyes, which has stood from 2006. I'll tell you what, the commentator, I was going to call him the stadium commentator, but let's call him the waterway commentator. He's really giving LAMDASSEM fulsome praise, and deservedly so. I have LAMDASSEM's time unofficially at 2:06:34. So he takes 18 seconds off the Spanish record for this classic distance. Daniel Mateo, well, he's going to take apart his personal best as well. Mateo, very accomplished track and cross-country runner, now moving up to the roads. And he's going to take about 2 minutes off his previous best. Previous best of 2:10:53. Coming through unofficially. I make it in 2:08:18. And they're still coming in. This is Desmond Mokobu, South African. And if he picks his feet up, he might just take a few seconds off his personal best as well. It's going to be hard to find runners in the top 20 who haven't set a personal best, other than the third place LEGESE. Yeah, Mokobo, the South African's taken about 20 seconds off his personal record as well. There we go, confirmation. With the plaque in his hand, made LAMDASSEM the new Spanish record holder for the marathon. Well, the women now have just got about 2.5 kilometers to go. Still out on the streets. They've just turned into the long straight close to the Toria Gardens. Well, that's PERES JEPKOSGEI who's leading the way by a considerable margin. Not necessarily the most gainly.
Marathon, CHEBET, you are the best mark here in Valencia. Congratulations.
We get a few words from Evans CHEBET.
Thank you. I'm happy today because
You might be just slightly out of breath after running 2:03.
Seasonal best here. So because I know this
So he had about 7 or 8 minutes just to gather his thoughts.
I'm in position 2. Run 2:05, but today I'm happy because you run 2:03.
Moves up to 6th on the all-time list. And the running here today really does cement Valencia as probably the best marathon in the world outside of the World Marathon Majors.
Final, sprint final.
Yeah. So I'm happy because I know this course. This course is very nice.
JEPCHIRCHIR is looking to really
now is
take quite a considerable amount of time off her personal best.
For me, I'm happy because I'm
She's better known as a half marathon runner. She's run a couple of marathons before.
So I'm happy because I ran this year very good because I'm winner for like pure and today. So I'm happy. Maybe next year I will come back again.
Contento de correr aquí en Valencia, dice que es una plaza muy bonita para hacerlo y desde luego con este récord que ha conseguido, repetimos, mejor marca en Valencia. Congratulations for your time, enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With JEPCHIRCHIR having gone through 40 kilometers, you can see that there's quite a considerable gap to Jocelyn JEPKOSGEI. 47 seconds. That's a good 300 meters to JEPKOSGEI down the road. Just giving you an update. Tigis Germa has gone through 40 kilometers in third place. Germa almost 2 minutes behind JEPCHIRCHIR at this point. JEPCHIRCHIR has really picked it up in the last few kilometers. 40 kilometers passed in 2:10:12. She's looking around 2:17 pace at the moment, which has really picked it up, because earlier in the race it was closer to 2:19. And some very, very good runners further down the road. I can tell you we're getting information in. Germa went through 40 kilometers in 2:12:02. Rutiaga 2:12:23, so quite a long way back. Zeneba Yima 2:12:36. So that's the top five at the moment in this race. It's been led by PERES JEPCHIRCHIR, where she does make up. Just the last few hundred meters. You can see 800 meters to go for JEPCHIRCHIR. Just keep going. It's looking as though she's going to be inside the course record. 2:18:30 by Rosa de Reija last year. She's going to be not 18 mark. JEPCHIRCHIR, well, world champion on the roads just 7 weeks ago when she took the World Half Marathon title in Poland. Also won the Prague Half Marathon back in September, so she's unbeaten on the roads. Her only defeat this year came in a local cross-country race at the very start of the year. So JEPCHIRCHIR now starting to work really hard. Those braids swinging from side to side. She's really come back into form this year after a rather indifferent 2019 by her exalted standards. She did win the Saitama Marathon last year, almost exactly a year to the day in Japan in that personal best of 2:23:50. She's run 3 previous marathons, but she's well on the way to having her biggest ever payday in a marathon. So just 200 meters to the finish now. Might just even make it into... Well, it's a bit of a push, but she's starting to sprint now. She's starting to work hard. She's really trying to get into 2:17, inside 2:17. Going to be hard work, though. She's going to have to work hard. She's got about 100 meters to go. Well, she's sprinting. She's working hard. Well, only 2 women have ever been inside 2:17. Hasn't quite made it, but this is going to be, without doubt, a course record. A superb run. PERES JEPCHIRCHIR, utterly delighted. PERES JEPCHIRCHIR, what a terrific run. 2:17:16 unofficially. And she flies up to number 5 in the world on the all-time list, and she's absolutely delighted. Tears starting to flow. Well, that World Half Marathon title Almost a training run for these heroics. Well, we've just seen some absolutely fantastic racing over the course of the past 2 and a bit hours. Here's JOYCILINE JEPKOSGEI coming in. She will absolutely hammer her own personal best as well. JEPCHIRCHIR 2:17.16. As JEPKOSGEI, as we can see in the distance, just coming through. Well, JEPKOSGEI, personal best over this distance of 2:22.38. Well, that's going to be consigned to history. But JEPCHIRCHIR winning by well over a minute, almost a minute and a half from JEPKOSGEI. See there a few of the Spanish men coming in behind the leading women. Good friends, they've had so many races over the course of the last few years. As I said before, best known, both of them for their half marathon heroics. At one time or another, both of them have held the world half marathon record. JEPKOSGEI still the course record holder in the half marathon here in Valencia. But it's her friend and compatriot PERES JEPCHIRCHIR who's now the course record holder in the marathon. Now we're going to switch attention back further down the course though to the Spaniards. So Marta GALIMANY is looking to try and crack that 25-year-old Spanish record. We've seen the Spanish record go in the men's race. Well, GALIMANY has got the target of the Spanish record that's been held by Ana Isabel Alonso for 25 years. 2:26.30 for her. GALIMANY, well, personal best of 2:29.02, so she needs to improve her personal best by a minute and a half, but I should say 2.5 minutes, but word is that she's been in fantastic form as we see some of the other leading women come home.
La marca personal de los atletas que participaban hoy en la maratón de Valencia estaban 2:21.
Well, behind the leading pair of JEPCHIRCHIR and JEPKOSGEI, HELALIA JOHANNES, last year's bronze medalist in Doha, did come through for third in 2:19.52, so that's personal best and national record for the Namibian. Confirmation of what we know, the course record falling to PERES JEPCHIRCHIR. HELALIA JOHANNES came through in the last 2 kilometers, overtook Zenaba Yima. That's like her personal best. There's still a few men coming in, the stragglers in the men's race. Out on the roads though, there's still quite a few women.
We are with JEPCHIRCHIR. You have reached the
Still looking at Marta.
in Valencia. Dice que se siente muy bien y que es absolutamente increíble. Have you ever dreamed with this moment?
Yes, this was my dream.
At the moment, GALIMANY, I'm just checking course record at the moment.
Rápido
Pick
como
it
yo
up.
quería y que esto es un sueño
Might have
que
a fighting
está
chance of
haciendo.
getting that time
Congratulations for your time and
of
enjoy
Ana
it.
Isabel Alonso,
Thank you so much.
2:26.51 from 1995. As we look at PERES JEPCHIRCHIR come through. 2:17.16. Galimany sticking to her task, starting to look just a little bit tired. She's got just over a kilometre of running still to go. I think she's slipped back though in the last kilometre. She is starting to look quite tired. So maybe the Spanish women's marathon record might just have to wait for another day. We can see the Science Museum, the Museo de Ciencias, come into view. There's one of the Spanish men, the veteran Alberto Suarez. Suarez, 43 years of age. Couple of minutes outside his personal best. Nevertheless, one of Spain's top veterans runners. Now, Galimany.
Bueno, ¿qué les parece? ¿Alguien imaginaba esta mañana de récords?
There we go. That's the shot I was waiting for, the picture of Galimany. And she's starting to come into view as she starts rounding these buildings in the Museo de Ciencias, Artes and Ciencias, I should say, the City of Arts and Sciences. 600 meters to go. Well, she's picked it up. She did look as though she was outside the Spanish record pace. 500 meters to go. It's going to be touch and go whether she gets that Spanish record. She's really got to work hard now. She's in absolute agony at the moment. She's getting help from her dedicated male pacemaker. That's one of the other top Spanish veteran runners, Roberto Roca. He's trying to guide Galimany into new territory. A personal best without a doubt, a big personal best. But she's really got to dig deep. The seconds are ticking away now. She's certainly also going to be inside the Olympic qualifying standard, which is what these Spanish athletes have been aiming for as well. 2:29.30, no doubt about that. But it's ticking away now, the time. 2:26.51. Keep your eye on the clock. She's going to be close, that's without doubt. Oh, I do think she's just going to miss out by a few seconds. She couldn't be any more determined. But it doesn't look as though it's going to happen today. No, the record has passed her by. For a moment or two, it looked as though she was going to crack it. But not today. 2:27.06. Linemaker, the second fastest Spaniard ever. But Isabel Alonso's Spanish record stays in there for another day. Doesn't seem to be too...